Before I begin this video, I want to congratulate the Houston Astros on winning the World Series last month. This time there's no question you guys earned it. Now the question is, will the Astros repeat as World Series champions? Something that hasn't been done since 2000. I think they should be the favorites by a long shot, but of course it's no guarantee because anything can happen. They should especially be favored after they made a huge upgrade at first base by bringing in Jose Abreu. They still have most of their core pieces locked up, and as said in my last video, they are so good at developing their prospects that everyone is replaceable no matter who it is. Justin Verlander and Michael Brantley may be free agents, but I at least expect Verlander to resign, and even if he doesn't, the Astros already made the World Series without him in 2021, and they still have a great rotation outside of him. They also did just win the World Series without Michael Brantley, so I wouldn't worry about losing him either. But either way, the Astros still have plenty of leverage for both of those guys because they're still way under the luxury tax, so let's break it down starting with their free agents. First, I want to talk about Justin Verlander, who at 39 years old made a remarkable comeback from Tommy John surgery and sure made a fool out of me by doing so at his age. How much longer can he keep it up though? He just opted out of his $25 million contract, and he most certainly has earned every right to ask for more money after he won the Cy Young Award for the third time in his career and helped the Astros win another World Series. As said before, the Astros are still way under the luxury tax, so I can't imagine the Astros not paying him what he wants. If for whatever reason the Astros don't pay him, the Astros can still develop their prospects, and they still have guys like Christian Javier and Framber Valdez. Next, we have Michael Brantley Jr., who always has been a great contact hitter, never much of a power hitter. He was lost for the season back in August, and the Astros certainly did more than just fine without him, so stop using injuries as an excuse, Hal Steinbrenner. It would still be huge for the Astros to be able to re-sign him though, but if they don't, again, they're just fine without him, and it certainly helps that Yordan Alvarez is a much improved defensive left fielder. Alvarez being a full-time left fielder would ask the question, who will DH then if Brantley does leave? Assuming the Astros don't do anything here, probably David Hensley, who's still 26 and did DH in the playoffs when Alvarez played in left field, but I think the Astros will sign somebody to fill that void if Brantley does leave. I could also see Jose Abreu sometimes DHing when Alvarez is in left field. If the Astros really do nothing though, if Brantley does leave, I just don't think that they'll really suffer from it because they know how to develop their guys and it's next man up for them. There's also Christian Vazquez, who was a midseason acquisition for the Astros. For a catcher, he is an above average hitter, but definitely not up there with Alejandro Kirk or JT Realmuto. Defense is where he has much more value. His market value is not very high, so re-signing him is definitely doable and definitely would be a plus for the Astros. The Astros were doing fine even with Martin Maldonado as their starting catcher, but they're definitely better off with Christian Vazquez, and he's absolutely affordable, so nothing to worry about to me for the Astros at the catcher position. Now with who the Astros are more than likely not bringing back with the acquisition of Jose Abreu, which I'll get to shortly, Yuli Gurriel is 38 years old and did not have a good 2022 season at all. It sounds like a no-brainer that the Astros will let him walk, and I don't think they need Trey Mancini back either. So Jose Abreu was signed to a 3-year deal worth $58.5 million. Now, he may be 36 years old, but he's still a great player and is absolutely an upgrade over Yuli Gurriel. Here's Jose Abreu's numbers, and here's Yuli Gurriel's numbers from this past season. Yeah, it looks like a pretty big upgrade, right? Sure, Abreu hasn't hit as many home runs or as many RBIs as past seasons, as he only hit 15 home runs and 75 RBIs, but he's still at 304 with a 378 on base percentage. Also, if we look at Baseball Savant, Abreu is still very capable of hitting the ball hard and has an excellent strikeout to walk ratio. Lastly, with the shift being banned next season, that'll definitely benefit Jose Abreu being the pull hitter that he is, and it'll also definitely significantly benefit Kyle Tucker. As for his defense, Jose Abreu's defensive runs saved is still barely above average, and his outs above average is average, but his defensive WAR and UZR are both negative. He's still definitely an upgrade over Yuli Gurriel defensively too. So, great move by the Astros. tip my cap to them. And they're still way under the luxury tax, so they easily have more than enough money to re-sign Justin Verlander and Michael Brantley Jr. Jose Abreu is also playing for a much more competent manager now in Dusty Baker than Tony La Russa, who we can see it's very clear is not meant for the modern game despite being a Hall of Fame manager. And if you're a White Sox fan watching this, good riddance Tony La Russa, right? As for who the Astros already have, they already have a dangerous lineup with Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, and Kyle Tucker, while ALCS and World Series MVP Jeremy Pena is only 25 years old and looks like a star in the making. He didn't put up great regular season numbers offensively, but he most certainly did in the playoffs and looks like he'll win multiple Gold Gloves for years to come. He already won one this year. Chas McCormick is also a starting level center fielder. There's not a shadow of a doubt that the defending champions offense just got even better. If they re-sign Verlander and Brantley, then the team as a whole is even better than it was the previous year. Even if the Astros do lose Verlander or Brantley in free agency, it's next man up for them. They are so great at developing their guys, probably better than anyone else when it comes to that. Jeremy Pena was a top 5 Astros prospect in 2021, but not even top 100 in all of baseball. He only became the Astros starting shortstop because Carlos Correa left in free agency, yet he was the ALCS and World Series MVP while also winning a Gold Glove. Also, Hunter Brown, who was the Astros top prospect this past season and got some major league experience this past season and pitched really well in the few games that he did pitch at the big league level, should have more of an impact this year. He was a 5th round pick, which really does go to show how great the Astros are at developing their guys. Hunter Brown can throw some heat. He can throw 96 to 97 miles per hour. As for who the Astros have to face, as long as the Yankees re-sign Aaron Judge, they are still the biggest threat to the Astros in the American League, but seeing how the ALCS played out, that's not saying much at all, especially when knowing that DJ LeMahieu's toe injury sounds really bad and he is looking like a bad contract. I won't kill Brian Cashman for that though, because back when he got the contract, based on how he played in 2019 and 20, if anything he deserved more money, but now it's not looking good just to keep that part short. If the Blue Jays get some much needed pitching though, I'll still take the Astros over the Blue Jays. However, the Blue Jays very well could be more of a threat to the Astros than the Yankees, even after losing Teoscar Hernandez, if they get some pitching depth. They still have a loaded offense without Teoscar Hernandez. The Blue Jays pitching isn't terrible, as guys like Alek Manoah and Kevin Gausman are really good. In the bullpen, there's guys like Jordan Romano and Adam Clymer, but they need a lot more depth in both the bullpen and the rotation. I also expect the Mariners to be better next season with more experience and the addition of Teoscar Hernandez, but I still don't think they'll be good enough to beat the Astros. I don't think they'll get swept by the Astros if they play each other in the playoffs again, but I just don't think that they're good enough to beat the Astros yet. The Mariners do have a really good bullpen, but need a little depth in that starting rotation. Robbie Ray back in Cy Young form would really help, as he was far from that this past season. Still think another arm or two would definitely make the Mariners more of a threat to the Astros than what they have right now. Although the Texas Rangers were only 68 and 94 this past season, with the addition of Jacob deGrom, maybe the Rangers can be somewhat of a threat to the Astros. Their offense this past season was above average, even with Marcus Semien being underwhelming, and Corey Seager, even though the home runs were still there, the average and on-base percentage definitely weren't at all. Semien was at least above average in the second half, just horrible in the first half, but just above average is not what the Rangers paid him to be coming off a season where he was 3rd in MVP voting. Hopefully for the Rangers' sake, they can get Seager and Semien to be more like what they paid them to be. The Rangers still have studs like Nathaniel Lowe and Adolis and Bobby Garcia in their lineup. Jacob deGrom and Martin Perez as your top 2 starters looks good, but the Rangers still need more pitching in my opinion. They do have a great farm system though, so this is a team that is on the come up. I do think they can be somewhat of a threat to the Astros, but unfortunately for them, while Ranger fans should be ecstatic about the addition of Jacob deGrom, it's just not enough for them to be better than the Astros. Sorry Mets fans about losing Jacob deGrom, I know this one hurts, and before you get angry in the comments, I don't hate the Mets, I hate the Red Sox, so the sympathy here is actually genuine. If anyone's going to beat the Astros, I think it's going to be a National League team. Either the Dodgers, Braves, Mets, or Phillies. If the Mets replace Jacob deGrom with Carlos Rodon, or if they replace him with Justin Verlander, then the Astros could be in trouble against the Mets if they face each other in the World Series. And also, if Max Scherzer doesn't choke in the playoffs again like he did this year. If the Dodgers sign Justin Verlander, okay, they may have a chance to get revenge from 2017, but I'm going to assume that Justin Verlander stays in Houston. Before I wrap this up though, Astros fans who gave me positive feedback on my last video, really appreciate you guys, and once again, you guys earned this championship. I hope you don't repeat, because obviously I want my Yankees to finally win number 28, but I'm going to be honest, I think that it's yours to lose right now. Those who commented that I glossed over how Altuve never wore a buzzer, you guys are right, and I did watch the Baseball Doesn't Exist video on that after you guys commented about that. That wasn't the point though, because the point was buzzer or not, Aroldis Chapman threw a bad pitch anyways, but you guys are right that Altuve was against the whole trash can banging anyways, or that there's no evidence of a buzzer being used. So that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a like as it helps out huge. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more sports content. Not just baseball, but basketball and football too. Links to my social media are down in the description. Also, please be sure to comment if you think anyone will dethrone the Astros, or if you think they'll repeat as champions, something that hasn't been done since 2000. I just don't think you can count them out, as the last 3 years, we thought the cheating scandal and losing marquee players like Garrett Cole, George Springer, and Carlos Correa would come back to bite, but no, it hasn't. The 2020 shortened season, it only did during the regular season, but definitely not nearly as much in the playoffs. I just think that it'd be wrong to count them out. That's just my opinion though, but you guys let me know what you think. So next I want to talk about if the Phillies can bounce back or if they'll suffer from a World Series hangover. I hope you stay tuned for that. So thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.